There are two types of people in this world: people that have one or two guitars and people that have 20 or 30. I think it's better to be one of the people that has one, two, or three guitars. And at the end of this video, maybe you'll either agree with me or disagree. Please feel free to be vocal in the comments and also tell me your favourite Nicolas Cage performance. This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. In that intro there, you heard me in the space of 4 minutes of playing. I do apologise for playing in every single video, but it is kind of the engine that keeps me wanting to do YouTube stuff. I like to play guitar, and YouTube was a way that I could kind of enforce playing guitar every single day, or kind of galvanise a habit that I already had. You heard me changing between, I think, at least 3 different scale lengths, definitely 4 different neck shapes, between having guitars that had single coils and humbuckers, guitars that were fixed bridge and trems. Went across kind of 3 of the archetypes, you know, the Telecaster, the Strat and the Les Paul, as well as the PRS SE. I kind of threw that one in there as a bit of a red herring, or probably not the right word, is it? As a bit of a, just a different guitar. First of all, I guess you can let me know which one you preferred the sound of, or whether you thought that any really stood out. The other thing is that what that really means, and this is, I think, one of the things about this having lots of guitars thing, is that there's like this period of time where you're having to kind of get to know the guitar again and switching between them. I don't know if any of you feel this kind of thing, but for instance, switching between a Strat and a Tele, bends, for instance, are very different. I think even there was different string gauges on these guitars as well, by the way. That's kind of this thing that I wanted to get into in this video, where 3 guitars are better than 30, for example, because I was noticing Leon Todd is a guy who's got one of those racks behind him of loads of guitars, and he was talking about in a video where he was talking about coming back home after being on tour. So he's been touring this kind of circus burlesque show, and looks like a lot of fun. But he was saying he was kind of missing home, and also missing the guitars that need to be played. And I sort of had that feeling a little bit as well, where if you've got a guitar, if you're not playing it, you get like a little bit of a sense of like a little bit of guilt, and you know, maybe a feeling like, should you really have it anymore? Do you need it anymore? Those kind of things. So I've kind of started a little bit of a sell-off. I've got it in mind that maybe there's a couple of K lines that I could sell. I've had some emails from you guys. I'm very much on the fence about whether that would be a mistake or not. I'm going to take them to David Beebe tomorrow and see what he reckons. It's not so much for me about a case of needing the money as such. It's more a case of space. And I guess I could show you. So my kid is now a year and a half old, and this is the biggest bedroom in the house where I record. And so over here there are 3 guitars. That to me would be kind of ideal to just have like 3 guitars over there. There's a computer over there where everything gets recorded, and then sort of things get a little bit more ugly, right? There's guitars, there's demo gear there, there's more guitars. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't think I necessarily have the space to accommodate a big guitar collection. So that is why, in my mind, maybe 3 guitars in this situation might be better than 30. And then there's some other factors. So first of all, if you don't play a guitar for months at a time, the strings start to kind of corrode. And when you go to pick up that guitar again, you might find that it has kind of basically kind of filth on the strings that is kind of corroded. And string life, I've found actually, is far shorter on guitars than I don't play than guitars I do play. I just put the yellow K line back in the cupboard because I'm playing the other 2 K lines right now, and the strings on that look pretty pristine because I play that guitar all the time, versus the Telecaster that I've got elsewhere, you know, that I don't play as often, that sits in a case for much longer. The strings are basically need changing. And that's one thing that I've definitely found a lot of. That seems to be true for me. I don't know whether it's true for you guys, but not playing a guitar for me seems to mean that I need to do more regular maintenance on it, if that makes sense, because each time I get it out, I'm not playing it that often. The strings kind of need some attention. Now, for me, I can often kind of wipe them off with like a sock or a pair of boxers, and they're generally okay to go, but that's one thing. And then the other thing is that they feel quite different to play. And so when I went into the studio, with my buddy Ollie that I did the kind of Marillion side project with, Mark Kelly's Marathon. Still find that online if you want. So I just took a couple of strats to the actual recording of that at Real World, but we then went into the studio, myself and Ollie, for his side project, a solo project. I took a few guitars to that because I had it in mind. Well, we're in a studio. Are we maybe going to be kind of experimenting to find sounds and that sort of stuff? I played a Les Paul on that session for all of about, I don't know, 2 minutes, and Ollie said, just get the Strat back out. Now, why is that? I think it is more a case that people are trusting you to kind of come up with your own sound, and they're more listening for whether you're comfortable playing that thing, and they're more listening, more importantly, to the performance and the part. And probably there is a type of guitar or a guitar that you own that you feel most comfortable playing, probably. I'm going to presume. And that guitar, if you're, being paid to play in a studio, or they're paying in the studio for hiring it, all that sort of stuff, the guitar that is going to get you the best performance quickest and with the least fuss is probably the guitar that is right to play. And not switching between guitars to find the right sound. It's the thing that's going to get the job done, the thing that is the hit maker for you. Do you know what I mean? Like Nile Rodgers has that specific guitar that he's played for ages. That I think is the principle at play here. 3 guitars for me, I think, is just slightly too, I don't know, I think it would start to maybe look a bit boring if you just saw me playing the guitar all of the time. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I do have guitars that are here kind of to keep things interesting. But I think you see the core kind of things that I play all the time. It's like that yellow K-line. And then what else is it? Like, I do dabble on other guitars, but, my key guitar that I play most of the time when I sit in this room and record tends to be that yellow K-line right now, right? Before that was the blue K-line, which I've kind of put in the cupboard because I want to wear out the frets too much. And yeah, so it's one of those things. Let me know your thoughts if you have any of those to share on that, and whether you kind of have a number that works perfectly for you. I do also have things like the ES335 and the Gibson ES165, which I feel like are kind of specialist guitars. They're not sort of things that I have in necessarily regular rotation. My regular rotation is just a couple of Strats, right? And then my live guitars is a couple of Telecasters, mostly these days. So I feel like there's quite a lot of baggage, essentially, like in my collection. I don't particularly want to be a guitar collector. I want to be a guitar player. And I guess there is a little bit of a difference, but whether or not it matters too much, you let me know in the comments. What is that number that you're looking for? My buddy Jake Loosemore, go check out his playing if you haven't. You've seen him on the channel a couple of times, playing with him in that gig the other day that we did. He actually only has like one Strat, which I think is a really cool thing. He's got this lovely Fender custom shop. He has a few other guitars, I think maybe 4, 5, 6, but quite a small collection. I definitely had less guitars as I was younger, but through the years, now that I'm an old man at 35, you tend to start to accrue guitars, and can be sometimes a bit difficult to let go of them. But let me know your thoughts. I'm going through this kind of thought about whether I want to pare down some of the collection, selling off things that I don't like as much. So the Fender Player Telly actually sold yesterday, and just kind of starting to clear this space a little bit more is kind of the idea. I think 3 guitars could be more enjoyable than 30. Let me know your thoughts. Cheers for stopping by.